All right, everybody, welcome back to Bloomington Buddies, where two buddies talk about all things sports. I'm Evan here today, joined by Quincy Bell as usual, and our producer Jackson. We are recording this a little bit earlier than usual. We usually record these on Fridays, but I know producer Jackson is going to be out of town, and this way we all can still do it. It is going to be an audio-only podcast today, so if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll put some cool picture over the video or over the audio here. But yeah, nothing really is going to change except the fact that you just won't see us, which is probably a plus for you. But other than that, we're going to keep going like normal today. We got a lot of good things to talk about. First off, we, of course, are going to preview what is going to be the dumbest Pro Bowl ever. We're not really going to preview the Pro Bowl. I'm just joking. But we will talk about the fact that we have some pretty awesome people that are going to be on the sidelines. And then we are going to talk about some big news that we had. Of course, we're going to get into our college basketball. And then, of course, we're going to do a little bit of NBA today. I know we didn't get a chance to touch on it last week, but we should have a little bit of time for that today. But yeah, okay, let's go ahead and get into it first.
Hold on. Pro Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
Who wins? 7v6, because it's going to be a flag football game.
I know.
Who wins?
It's the dumbest thing ever.
Who wins? The AFC with a 50-point lead or the Bloomington Buddies?
Personally, I'm still going to have to give it to the AFC, my man. Personally, if you ever saw Bloomington Buddies play, you would know that that's really not a big, tall task. But I will say, I don't know who can beat the dynamic trio of quarterbacks we got with, Tyler Huntley, Trevor Lawrence, and Derek Carr.
Well, it's because Burrow and Allen are hurt, and then Mahomes is in the Super Bowl. Or no, Burrow and Allen just were like,
no, they don't want to do it. Neither does
coming.
Lamar. You realize Lamar's not hurt anymore. Like, he is not. He could play, and he just chose not to.
And then Herbert and Tua are hurt, and then Mahomes is playing in the Super Bowl. So,
which is so stupid because if I'm being realistic, I literally would rather pick almost any other quarterback to be like any other backup you could think of.
Yeah,
like I would rather pick Joe Flacco to be in the Pro Bowl. Like, he played more than Tyler Huntley.
Right. Speaking of the Super Bowl. We have a matchup.
We do, and I'm very, very, very not happy with it because I think that, and I'm calling out Eagles fans. Yeah, it's a dead 50-50 split right now, which is one of the only. I think it's actually one of the only times that this has ever happened in Super Bowl history. There is a dead 50%.
FPI 50.0 to 50.0.
Yeah.
Chiefs and Eagles, both of which had pretty interesting conference championship games. The first one, Eagles and the 49ers.
I'm calling bullshit on this one, though, because I'm really tired of Eagles fans sitting here saying that they're so good. You beat a team that literally had nobody because Brock Purdy got hurt. Nick Bosa, if you watch the play, he actually got his ankle bloodied on the sideline during the first quarter when somebody ran into him on the sideline. Deebo Samuel didn't even play all the snaps because he was still recovering from an injury. CMC carried that team, and you can't have a one-man team. So Eagles fans, shut up. You can't say that you beat a true 49ers team when they were all hurt.
I don't know who has seen this meme. It's from the show where they would like take the kids to the prison and just like, hey, you don't want to end up in prison. This is what it's like. And they wake him up at like 6 and they're like, move, get up. And the guy's like shaking.
Yeah.
And as he gets up, I was like, that was the 49ers telling Josh Johnson he has to play in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah,
and
that
then
was
he
ridiculous.
got hurt too, so they had to basically run the Wildcat with McCaffrey.
Yeah,
it was game over when that happened.
If I'm being realistic, I've seen CMC make some good throws, and like,
he's not a quarterback.
He's not a QB, but like the fact, and he made one bad throw because they didn't really give him a chance. He did what you're supposed to do. When he was about to get sacked for 5 yards, he threw it all the way deep in the middle of the field where nobody was. And everybody's sitting here going, oh, yeah, he's not a QB.
I mean, the game was over. Here's the thing.
But my problem with this is they didn't give him a chance until 3 minutes left in the game. If they would have given him the entire fourth quarter,
they were not coming back.
In a Wildcat formation with
They're
CMC,
not coming back.
They were only down 3 scores at that point, and it wasn't even touchdowns. It was 17 points.
They were not. It was 28-7 at the end of the third quarter. They were not coming back.
And I'm telling you right now, it literally would not have been near as bad. Instead, they put Brock Purdy in, and then they freaking know that all they're going to do is hand the ball off. So then it's not even a game anymore.
Here's the thing: the Eagles still basically just ran through the best defense in the NFL. Like.
They
Eagles
also were missing half their people.
This wasn't a lucky win because their quarterback was out. The Eagles took control of that whole game. They're the better
They went
team.
through a defense that was putting pieces together. Also, and I'm going to call Eagles fans out. One of the biggest things in a football game is momentum, right? Everybody can admit that. If you don't admit that, then obviously you've never played a game of football or watched a game of football in your life. biggest thing is momentum. Once you get the momentum on your side, a lot of the times you carry that, right? You didn't catch the ball. I'm sorry, Devontae Smith. You totally did not catch that ball.
Okay,
and that's where the momentum started.
So it's 24-7 instead
No,
of 31-7.
but that's okay. No, but that can change the whole game. If he misses that catch, then they don't get that big huge play, and then for all you know, 49ers stops
San
them.
Francisco could have challenged it, and they didn't.
Okay,
So
but that's because they didn't have the angle. If you watch the post-game interview,
that is the job of the guy upstairs. He has every single angle he needs.
Okay, no. He didn't release it until after almost halfway through the game. If you listen to the post-game interview,
that one
he
play
literally
was not
says,
that
Okay.
one play was not winning them the game.
okay, but you also don't know what would happen. I'm not necessarily saying that you're right. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that the Eagles would have lost.
I'm saying,
or still won.
I'm saying
but
Brock Purdy could have played the whole game. The Eagles still would have won by a bunch. The
I don't
Eagles have
believe
looked like
that.
the best team in the NFL. Game number 2.
I'm also gonna say this: if you're a Bengals fan right now, you guys are being like absolute bitches because. And I'm sorry, because you're blaming a guy who literally carried you through half of that game, and then you're sitting here making fun of him because he hurt himself on a play and cost you the game. Yeah, was it a stupid idea? 100%. But you guys, like, going into the locker room after the game, his teammates sitting there cursing him out, telling him that he's the reason. Like, that's what is the point in that?
Here's the thing. So people are up in arms with the it's not actually a penalty. Here's the thing, all right? If he doesn't push him there, Harrison Butker's still making that field goal.
No, he's not. He was out of field goal range by almost 4 yards.
He was like,
No,
he
he
was
was
like it would have been like a 59-yarder. He probably would have made it.
from where Mahomes went out, it was going to be a 62-yard field goal.
Okay. Well, they had
would not have
some
made that.
time to run like an out route. Here's the thing, though. Is that a penalty? Okay, by the rule book, technically, yes, it is a penalty. To call that with 3 seconds left in a conference title game?
No, okay. If
I feel like that's kind of...
No. If what they did to Jalen Hurts in the other game is roughing or is an unnecessary roughness, when he literally hadn't even hardly barely gotten 1 foot out of bounds before they hit him. Mahomes had both feet out of bounds and they hit him.
Yeah.
So no, it was a good call. But my point is that if you watch the play, he trips over his own feet, which, yeah, it's still a penalty, but everybody's over here like, oh, he shouldn't have touched the quarterback. He didn't do it on purpose. He tripped over his feet. He fell forward. He hit them. And then if you watch, his knee crumbles. He like hyperextends it. He's on the ground in pain. And everybody is just sitting there, making fun of him and telling him that he shouldn't have done it. And I just even Micah Parsons came out, put a tweet out and said, this is stupid. Like, why are you guys doing this? This is so messed up. Literally, there's clips out there everywhere of a compilation of about 1.5 to 2 minutes of him he almost sacked Mahomes twice. He did sack Mahomes twice. Almost every play that Mahomes had to be hurried out of the pocket, he was in on it.
Well, the Bengals could not get anything going on offense, at least in the first half. They only had 6 points.
That's what happened last conference championship
Basically,
game.
the only reason they were able to keep pace in this game is their defense was holding up really,
Correct.
really well.
But that's what happened last year, too. They hardly scored at all in the first half. They were down by 27 points, and then they came out and they won the game.
I will say, when Joe Burrow is your leading rusher with 4 carries on 30 yards, that's a problem. You got to be able to run the ball in the playoffs.
True, but
That's
also, they still lost the game by a field goal. It wasn't like they lost it by 3 touchdowns.
I'm saying there's things they could have done throughout the whole game.
That's correct, but you also have to realize, that's Chris Jones. Most teams can't run on that D-line, no matter who you have. Jason Kelce is one of the best. Actually, in my opinion, he is the best center in the game.
Jason Kelce's on the Eagles.
Or that's what never mind. I keep forgetting they weren't playing yet. They're playing here soon. That is going to be a matchup I can't wait to see.
Bro, are we going to, they have a podcast, and if they do it the week of the Super Bowl, that's going to probably be like the most watched podcast.
They said
of
that
all
I
time.
think they're doing it this weekend.
That's going to be a fun.
I love their podcast.
And
by the way, go check that out. New Heights is one of my all-time
and
favorite
podcasts.
podcasts.
That whoever wins the Super Bowl will be talking the most shit.
Well, actually, it's funny because if you watch Travis Kelce's post-game interview, he literally said, I know that I'm very popular for talking a lot of shit, and that's just kind of who I am. But he goes, there will be nothing talked between each other. He goes, we both respect each other. We both realize that this is a big moment. He goes, he's my brother. We're not going to do that.
I will say one thing about the Bengals. They came into that game way too cocky.
I literally said that.
I
literally told people
there's a difference between being doubted about when I was talking about with the fact that they were selling tickets to the other game in Atlanta that never ended up happening. But they took it too far. They just took it way too far. They became real cocky.
They became Michigan.
Talking about they did kind of become Michigan. Talking about Burrowhead and Cincinnati's mayor.
Still too soon.
By the way, yeah, it is still too soon. By the way, I love Travis. Another reason I love that, him coming up after the game and going, "Burrowhead, my ass," and then just walking off camera, like just the smoothest move I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just.
So we have a lot of time before the Super Bowl. So all that we're gonna do is just name an early score prediction. This is subject to change, but I'm just gonna you're just gonna name one score prediction, and then we're gonna move on. I'm gonna say Eagles 31, Chiefs 27.
Right now, based on current injuries, I'm gonna sadly have to say Eagles probably win 38-34.
Okay. Next topic.
No, we got to talk about
Tom Brady.
I want to talk about Pro Bowl real quick, not actually the game itself. The best part about the Pro Bowl is like the skill games, by the way, which I'm super pumped that they're actually bringing back.
I mean, I guess.
But no, the fact that Snoop Dogg is the AFC captain and Pete Davidson is the NFC captain. First off, I'm not a big fan of Pete Davidson as a person, not a huge fan, but his comedy is hilarious. And I think that he is gonna, they're definitely gonna be cracking jokes. But yeah, Snoop Dogg is the AFC captain. That's gonna be so funny. Like, knowing who Snoop Dogg is, it's gonna be funny to see what he's just doing.
Who's he a fan of?
Who?
Snoop Dogg.
Oh gosh,
I know he's an LA.
He's an LA fan, so I think he's a Rams fan. He's either a Ram. No, he's a Chargers fan.
I know he's
a Chargers fan.
I know he's an LA Kings fan.
No, he's a Chargers fan.
For the actual game, the NFC has won the last 5 Pro Bowls.
Yep.
So
yeah, but no, I think he's a Chargers fan because if I remember correctly, at the Super Bowl he wore Rams colors, but that's also because they're kind of Chargers colors, because he's from LA. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure he's a Chargers fan. But yeah, but it will be hilarious just to see those two interacting with each other. Eli and Payton are the coaches, which I'm a Manning fan, so that'll be cool for me. Yeah, I don't ever watch it for the actual game itself. I watch for the skill games and the funny commentary.
No, yeah, they're literally, I'm pretty sure, just trying to bring back the funny
100%.
Commentary from the Jake Paul fight that Davidson and Snoop Dogg were a part of. Like, I'm pretty sure Snoop Dogg was the MC, and they brought on Pete Davidson as a commentator, and he was basically just like, I have no clue why I'm here right now.
Just your friendly reminder that Jake Paul is not a real boxer.
Just your friendly reminder that Jake Paul is not a real boxer, correct? But he is a damn good fighter. I'm sorry. I don't like Jake Paul.
He can fight. He's just not a real boxer, like he says he is.
True. He's not. I wouldn't necessarily. He's a boxer. He
hasn't fought an actual boxer yet. He hasn't boxed a boxer yet.
Correct. He hasn't boxed a boxer yet, but he did
I hate
win
it when people are like, Jake Paul would beat Muhammad Ali in his prime. Like, he just would not.
Okay, you're right. He hasn't fought a real boxer except for the fact that he did just beat Money Mayweather. Pretty bad, too. Knocked him out.
Floyd Mayweather's past his prime, like way.
Okay, yeah, he's past his prime, but
past his prime.
Mayweather is still an absolute beast.
We need to talk about Tom Brady and not Jake Paul.
We also have another thing in the NFL to talk about after Tom Brady.
Okay,
Big news.
Tom Brady says he's retiring.
I believe him this time because I feel like when a player like him retires, because the first time it came out, it was obviously through the news sources, right? Tom Brady didn't actually come out himself. It was more like he let it trickle through the news sources. The fact that he woke up this morning, turned on the record button, and posted it himself, and that's how everybody found out. I feel like it's more of like he knew it was time.
Well,
he wanted it.
What happened last time basically is Schefter talked to someone that was close to Brady, and the guy was like, "Hey, so he's gonna announce it on this day or whatever. Don't tell anyone. This is kind of like a
and that's
surprise
not what you
thing."
tell Schefter.
And then he went and told everyone. And then Brady did retire, and then unretired, and then kind of played like ass this year. I always draft him on my fantasy team because I can pick him in like the 12th round. And I was like, Tom Brady, what the hell are you doing? And then he plays well, but he didn't play well this year. But yeah, he did not play very well. I mean, he's the best quarterback there ever was.
I will say this. Like, personally, I don't like Tom Brady. Like, I mean, I never really have. It's just that, he's just never, been one of my favorite players, but you will never ever hear me say that he is not the best quarterback in the league. I may not like him, but I sure as hell respect him. I mean, sadly, he's the Michigan, but Wolverine, but we'll just gloss over that. Here he goes. I knew it. I knew the second I brought it up. No, he's like, no.
I'm not.
Not a big fan of Michigan, Brady?
He fucking sucked when he was at Michigan.
That's 100%
he was terrible.
True. That's true.
And then, of course, he goes on to become the greatest quarterback of all time then when he gets to the NFL and, of course, for the fucking Patriots. And it's like...
I saw something that was like if the college football playoff was around in like 1998 and it was like Michigan would have played like Tennessee in like the first round of the playoff, and it would have been Brady versus Manning in college, which would have been cool.
Which would have been hilarious to see Michigan get absolutely just throttled.
So now the Bucs are going to have to draft a quarterback or have Kyle Trask. Is he still in the Bucs? I have no idea.
No, they're not.
They're probably going to draft a quarterback.
Hot take. I know exactly who they're going to try to pick up.
Who?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is 100% leaving Green Bay. He just came out the other day and said that the earliest he'll make his retirement decision is after the Super Bowl. And I'm telling you right now, anybody who ever makes the statement, I will
Aaron
make my
Rodgers is
retirement
not
decision
retiring.
after the Super Bowl, means that they're going to come out after the Super Bowl so that they can try and outshine the Super Bowl. So that they can be like, oh, I'm not going to retire.
Yeah,
No, I
Aaron
don't believe
Rodgers
it.
is not going to
Brady
retire.
did the same thing. He said he was going to retire after the Super Bowl. So, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is not going to retire. The Bucs are going to. So you think that the Bucs are going to trade for Aaron
Either the
Rodgers?
Bucs are going to trade for Aaron Rodgers, the Raiders, or the Jets.
Okay.
And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be one of those teams just because, A, the Jets, they've already said they're getting rid of Zach Wilson, which I disagree with. I don't like this because
honestly,
I think that Zach Wilson's just been having a lot of trouble because he's like, I think we see this in a lot of rookie QBs. Like Trevor Lawrence didn't have a great first season.
Here's the thing, okay? I want to bring this point up when it comes to talking about quarterbacks. For the longest time, the best quarterbacks were from that class, like in college and even back to high school. If you look at rankings, the best two QBs were Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. They were 1 and 2 on every list. They were 1 and 2 on every draft board. And all of a sudden, ooh, this guy from BYU had a good year. We need to put him at 2. And then he turns out,
but but I don't think again.
and then
Zach
he turns
Wilson's
out to be
not a bad
garbage.
QB. He's not garbage.
He is.
He's really not.
He is.
He's just a different style that doesn't fit the Jets.
He's not. A good
You know who I think he would be a great fit on?
Who?
The Raiders.
I mean, maybe.
No, I think he would be a great fit.
Back to my point.
If the Jets are smart, they do a straight up. They give Jack Wilson. They get Derek Carr.
Back to my point though, is that you see these two guys and you're just like, wow, these are the best quarterbacks. And then one guy comes up out of nowhere and they're usually not that great. Like this year, everyone is basically that C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are the best, and they've been all year. Oh, but Will Levis is climbing up the draft boards. It's like,
okay, but
Will
you also
Levis
have to
is gonna be ass.
You also have to think about the teams that don't already have a franchise quarterback and what their scheme is. You also have to realize that at the time, did anybody really think that the Bears were going to adopt a read option playbook? No. Nobody thought that.
I mean, I love the read option.
I do too. I think read option is one of the most effective plays in the game.
Matt Nagy was also trying his damnedest to ruin Justin Fields.
100%. But you also have to realize that. Think about it. At the time, the only team that had perfected read option was the Ravens, right?
Yeah.
And Justin Fields was a mobile quarterback. So they sat here and went, is he really going to fit in the NFL? No. Zach Wilson is more of
but Justin Fields can also throw the ball 70 yards.
But not as accurate. Zach Wilson is more accurate than him. And that's what they want. They don't want somebody that can just throw. They don't want a Jameis Winston, bro,
All right.
who can throw it 70 yards and throw interceptions every play.
Let's move on.
Well, wait.
Or not.
My man, Sean Payton, is now the head coach for the
This
Denver
was the
Broncos.
dumbest shit I've seen all week. You're giving up a
first
first and a
round pick.
second for a coach?
The Saints easily
That's
got
the
this trade.
dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Can we also just say that the
What
Saints
the
made
fuck
the best?
were you doing?
The Saints made the best decision, though, to
Oh my
actually sign Sean Payton, even though he was no longer their head coach, which is so hilarious. They put him on a contract that said, yeah, if you want him, you're going to have to give us something for him. And sure enough, here come the Denver Broncos riding in. No pun intended.
You're already a bad team. They're a bad team, the Broncos.
Funny enough, I actually think that they're not going to be not going to be great, but they'll do better.
This isn't college football. A good coach is not going to make a bad team a good team.
That's not true.
This is not college football.
Sean Payton did it with the Saints in 2008.
They're still going to be a bad team.
Okay, again, Sean Payton did it with the Saints in 2008. That was a team of full free agents. Drew Brees, in his book, literally talks about how literally almost every player on that offense and most of the players on that defense they picked up from free agency.
I'm telling you right now, they're going to be just as bad.
No,
they are not going to be.
They'll get close to 500.
That's still not going to cut it.
It's not going to cut it, but I'm telling you right now, you're also. What the hell does Sean Payton have to lose? He's a retired coach who's just going to get money.
Good for Sean Payton, but you're giving away. You need to build a future, and you've already given your picks to who? The Jets have one of their picks.
But what are they gonna? But listen, who are they gonna get with that
Seahawks
first
have one
round
of their
pick?
picks. Anyone other than a damn coach?
Okay, but my point
And
is
they have a second.
you're not gonna.
Their top 2 picks.
They also have 2 first round picks.
Still though,
so they gave up their latest one. They still have the 4th overall pick.
I hope the Saints. I hate the Saints. I
love the Saints. I think they're hilarious.
I hope the Saints go out there and get like the next greatest player of all time with that first round pick.
No, that'd be funny. But no, but my point is what are you going to do? You're not going to draft a quarterback. Why? Because you already gave Russell Wilson $300 million.
No, you've made your bed. You have to.
You have to play it. And you don't need, in my opinion, you don't need receivers. You need an O-line. You need a bear. Like you need to
that O-line
the
was
Bears.
Horrible.
But I mean, really, the defense isn't bad. Patrick Surtain, in my opinion, is going to end up being a Jalen Ramsey. He's going to be one of the best corners in the league. Also, did you see that the Bears may actually get Jalen Ramsey?
Okay. Get Jalen. I did not see anything about this. Is news to me.
Yeah. So there's been some mock trades. There's been one that says that the Jalen Ramsey could possibly be going to the Jets, the Raiders, or the Bears, and there was another team that was in on the mix. God, I can't remember who it was. But I wouldn't hate it because I mean you guys have so much cap.
It wouldn't be bad.
But I mean also I don't think that corner is your main need right now. Yeah, I think you need an O-line.
The Bears need either an O-lineman
yeah.
or a receiver or someone on defense.
To be honest, I like your receiving core. I mean, I don't like all of them, but I think you at least have a one. Darnell Mooney is your one.
See, Darnell Mooney is a good
Moneyman Mooney.
The thing is he is not he would not be the number one receiver on a lot of NFL teams.
I disagree. On certain NFL teams, 100%. But I mean, if you look
at I don't think he would be the number one receiver on any team that made the playoffs.
The Giants.
Who's y'all's number one?
Depends on the day. Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard.
Okay, fair enough.
Isaiah Hodgins went off.
All right,
though.
Then I guess the Giants.
But yeah, you could do the Giants. I think he would be the number one on
Jacksonville.
Is he
better than Christian? I don't know if he's better than Christian Kirk.
I think he's slower, but I think he's more I think he's bigger.
It is what it is. What I hope they do is what I've saw something that the Bears could do is trade down to 2 and then trade down to 4. Or trade down twice.
No, you could.
They should definitely trade down because what they should do is they should trade with the Colts. And the reason they should trade with the Colts is because I don't know which QB the Colts, because the Colts aren't drafting. They pretty much got to draft a QB. I don't know which one they like better, C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young.
In my opinion, they'll take C.J.
Whoever you like better, you don't want your divisional rival with the number 2 pick to get him. So the Bears should they should do anything they can
they
trade down because they don't
with the Colts first.
They don't need the number 1 pick.
They don't need it. But I also know how the Bears management thinks, and they're probably going to be like, oh, let's just take the best player that's not a QB available, and I'll be like, you guys are stupid. But my point is,
if they don't get a good enough trade offer, I want them to draft Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. Basically, either one will work. I prefer Jalen Carter, but I'm not going to be upset if they take Will Anderson.
If I'm being honest, I think the Bears play it smart. If the Bears are smart here,
thinking the Bears will play something smart,
I know that's the funniest part. But my point is that literally, if they could, and it's not, I don't think it would be too hard. Instead of just trading, because you could easily trade your pick, your first for your first, but I think they could also get a decent player in the mix, like an already player.
Yeah,
and then they could start building.
They got like $130 million of cap.
Well, it's going to end up coming out to like 80, or it's going to come out to 90 million.
I will say one thing: if they trade Justin Fields for picks and draft Bryce Young, I am swan diving off the bell tower.
The funny thing is like, yeah, I don't agree with that, but also like, Justin Fields is I think he could be your franchise QB, but also like you can't have a team.
Oh, he's the
with
best
a good QB.
Bro, he's the best quarterback the Bears have ever had, ever.
Yeah, I guess. No, I don't know. Actually, yeah.
Besides, like maybe Jim McMahon.
I don't know. I think Jay Cutler was your guys' best player.
My brothers and I were texting each other with my dad this morning, and basically we were all just like talking about the Brady retirement thing and all that, and basically my brothers were just like, don't worry, Jim Irsay is on the phone right now trying to get a trade so we can give away a top draft pick right now. Just try and get Brady for him for us next year. Don't worry. Jim Irsay will find a way to screw this up for us.
I have to say, he's got to be one of the dumbest owners ever.
There are some very funny Jim Irsay stories that are out there.
Yeah, have you seen the video of him trying to lead the team in a team singing of "We Will Rock You."
And he's like,
No.
It's from Hard Knocks last season.
I have seen that. And
so fucking funny.
Speaking of videos, we'll have to show producer Jackson
Oh,
this off
this
air
was-
because
this was
you
funny.
guys wouldn't
This
see it
was
anyway.
funny.
There is a video that went viral a couple weeks ago. I'm sure you've seen it, of the crazy kid at the Celtics game, like running down the stairs, dancing all crazy, and like dancing
Bro,
to what was it? What song was it?
It was Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi's "Living
Bro,
on a Prayer."
He looks just like you.
He looked just like you.
He
And
looks
we
just
literally
like
were
you.
watching it in one of our classes yesterday because it was like part of our lecture, and I literally looked at Quincy. Quincy turned around and we went, "That's Jackson."
gotta
And literally
look
the
this
first
up
thing.
now.
He looks
it's so
just like
funny.
you. Okay.
I gotta look this up.
All right, let's move on. We're now going to talk about IU basketball, which is a sensitive topic everywhere in this city.
Oh, we're gonna do so good these next few games. We're gonna beat Maryland. No, we're not.
Okay, I did not think they would beat Maryland.
Okay? Let's go back to the episode.
Before yesterday, I told, you can ask Jimmy because I told him this. I said, I don't think they will win this game because Maryland hasn't lost at home since the middle of last year.
You may have said that yesterday.
They've
but
won,
before
like-
that. You were really dead set that we were gonna win until we were gonna win that game. We were gonna win pretty much almost the rest of our
Okay,
games.
so they lost against Maryland, and I'm not really too worried. And the reason I'm not too worried is because it's hard as hell to win at Maryland, and Maryland's a strong team. Maryland, this isn't a
That doesn't
Minnesota.
It's
or
okay. Okay, there's a difference between losing on the road and getting blown out.
they did not get blown out.
Okay,
It
Trace
was-
Jackson Davis is the only reason that game was even close. You
Yeah,
can't have a one-man
there was
team.
not.
Literally, our team had 6 fouls within the first 7 minutes of the game.
What did kind of make me upset is when Jalen Hood-Schifino is on, he's on, and like against Ohio State, he made 6 of 9 from 3. He was firing, but when he's not hot, which he was not against Maryland, he did not have a very good game. When he's not hot, he needs to learn that, hey, I need to start passing the ball more and not keep chucking up mid-range. That's the one thing I don't like about. If he can learn how to manage that, I think it'll be fine. But overall, I'm not too concerned.
No, what we need to learn how to do is, it's called help in the paint. TJD cannot be taking on 2 people in the paint and have to pick which one to guard. Race Thompson is by far the worst player on that starting
I've been
five.
bagging on Race Thompson a lot because I think he's horrible.
I will say this,
Race
absolute
Thompson,
amazing block.
Race-
but other than that, he did nothing
Race
in that entire
actually
game.
did not have that bad of a game. He had 11 points.
He had 11 points, but most of those came off of like pretty, like, if you didn't
Here's
make them,
what's
that
kind
was
of concerning. Miller Kopp 1 rebound. Race Thompson 4 rebounds. Hood-Schifino 5 rebounds.
21, right?
Galloway
Or is it
3
20?
rebounds. Trace 20 rebounds.
Yeah, 20.
You got it. I don't know.
He got a double-double.
It was gonna be a hard game no matter what, no matter who they were
By the
playing.
way, to
next.
put it in perspective, if I remember correctly, the highest rebounder on Maryland had like 8. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure he had 8.
I will fact check this.
But like it was nothing. It was nowhere close to Trace, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. The highest rebounder on Maryland was Julian Reese, who had 11.
11. Okay, so it was close.
Julian Reese.
That's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
Trace Jackson Davis had almost double.
Here's the thing. I mean, 3 of 11 from 3 is just not going to cut it.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I mean, if you would have asked me when we had X-Men and we were playing the way we were we going to beat Purdue? Yes. Are we going to beat Purdue now? No.
Here's the thing.
I don't care what
IU
anybody
is
says.
so good. Here's the thing, right? This was going to be a hard game no matter who they were playing next. But the fact that they were playing Purdue and it's just such a big game, you can't help but look ahead to that game. So I'm not too worried that they lost to Maryland.
No,
I mean,
because the season,
Maryland hasn't lost at home this year.
No, because but the thing is I think that I hate when people say, well, it's such a big game, you just can't help but look ahead. No, because guess what? They're really going to hate themselves if the loss to Maryland is the reason they don't make it.
I don't think there's any scenario where they don't make the tournament.
If they, at this point, how they're playing, if they make it, they're going to go out first round.
They're not going to miss the tournament.
They may not miss it, but they're going out first
And
round.
I'm telling you right now, since the tournament is good team after good team after good team after good team, and they've been doing that all year, so they're going to be better prepared than some of these other teams. I'm not too worried about IU come tournament time.
If I'm being realistic, as much as I want to see them succeed, I don't think they should be top 25. I think that giving them 21 was bogus.
If they beat Purdue, they will stay in the top 25. If they don't beat Purdue, then
correct, I
they're not
agree.
going
But
to.
if they lose here, they probably won't make it back to the top 25.
let's preview said game. Okay, here's my thought. Right, having this game at home is such a gargantuan advantage. I've been trying to, because the Purdue game wasn't in my like ticket group I got before the season started, but I was happy because, Purdue's not even ranked. They're shit. And I got the UNC game. I was like, UNC's ranked number 1. But then UNC dropped to 18, and now Purdue's ranked number 1. I'm trying to find someone who will sell me it for a reasonable price.
Honestly, if I'm being realistic, a good offer, I noticed a lot of people are saying that they would also like, they want money, but they'll also like take ticket trades. So like trade.
Oh, yeah.
I would give money, but also be like, hey, I'll give you like $30 and this ticket.
So here's the thing. So I don't want to go by myself. And I have a friend of a friend who's selling his ticket, and I might be able to get one. I don't know. It's whatever.
I don't know why you wouldn't go by yourself. I was gonna say I don't care to go to a game by myself.
I don't want to go by myself.
That's stupid. Why would you not want to go by yourself?
Who goes to a sports game by themselves?
But you're not really by yourself. You literally have the entire freaking student section.
I guess, but
you also have
I went to an IU game by myself. It was not bad at all.
Also, my point is how are you by yourself when 17,000 people are in an arena?
I'll figure it out if I really want to. But previewing the actual game, having it at home is such a gargantuan advantage because the only game they've even lost at home is Northwestern, and that's when everyone was hurt, and it was over break, so there weren't even that many people there.
I will say, in the Big Ten, we are probably the best team at home historically.
I'll even go a step further. They might be the best team in the entire country at home right now.
No, Maryland's had a better record in Big Ten.
I guess Maryland.
And everything else.
But here's what I'm going to say. If you're looking from like a starting lineup perspective, Zach Edey and Trace are going to match up. Neither one
height-wise, they're not, but I think that physicality-wise,
neither one is going to outplay the other. They are going to basically go point for point. It's not going to be one person constantly getting buckets on the other, and the other one just can't do anything about it. They're going to match up. Here's my thing. IU's supporting cast is a hell of a lot better than Purdue's.
But the funny thing is our supporting cast has been playing like absolute dog shit for the past, I don't know, like 2 weeks.
They had one bad game.
No. Every game that we've won has been because of 2 people. And if you disagree with that, you obviously have not been watching the game. It's been because of Jalen Hood-Schifino and Trace Jackson Davis. Anybody who's watched the games can tell you that.
Well, here's I'll push back on that. Against Michigan State, TJD had 31, Galloway had 17, Bates had 17. Hood-Schifino didn't even play that well.
You're also naming the one team that is like really, really bad.
Michigan State's not a bad team. You're just insane.
No, I'm not. I've literally watched them play games, and they literally
against Illinois, TJD had 35, but Geronimo had 13, Hood-Schifino had 10, Galloway had 11. Like, they have been getting in the games.
Against a team that is number 1 in the country, if you have one player,
They don't have one player.
No. My point is we can't have our supporting cast barely hitting double digits.
They'll show up.
I disagree. Okay. That's what everybody's been saying all season. Oh no, they'll show up here. They'll show up here.
They have for the last. Besides the Maryland game, they literally had.
We're 13.
We're talking about the month of January when they started winning games. They were literally getting contributions from everyone.
Okay, it doesn't matter. You have to finish. You can't just win 3 games and everybody go. You're going to be. Oh, my bad.
Actually, it's 5 games.
Okay, you win 5 games against most of them against teams that are just known for choking. I mean, Penn State. Penn State isn't a basketball school. First off,
they lost to Penn State. That's just because Penn State.
That's my point.
Well, these 3 games were because they were dealing with injuries. That's what they were doing.
They're still dealing with injuries.
What X isn't even that good.
Okay, yet if you look at it, we were better when we had X. So
I think they'll be fine.
No, we're gonna lose.
I think you're just a fucking pessimist.
No, I just think that.
Oh my God! Every team in the Big Ten is bad. It's getting on my nerves.
No, I think that it's just looking at the freaking record. You know, we're literally right now. Yeah, you're looking at we're 7th or we're 6th in the Big Ten.
They're tied for. They're tied with like. Okay, I'll give you a funny stat. There is 1.5 games separating 2nd from 10th.
Okay.
They're right in the middle of the pack with everyone.
You're talking about conference play though. The fact that we are 13-8 now.
Eddie.
Or 13-7.
They're 15-7.
Or 15-7 because we lost that game.
There are a ton of teams with like that same record, but they're not playing the same caliber of teams IU is. Like Pitt has the same record, but Pitt has lost to some like 9 good teams. IU has not.
I'm just telling you, we're not the team that everybody keeps saying.
IU has not lost to a bad team yet.
Besides, I disagree. Penn State is not a good team.
Penn State's a tournament caliber team.
That's because you also have to realize that the Big Ten sends so many teams, so does every other big conference for the most part. Every year.
The Big Ten's they're the best conference.
Right now, I would say overall, yeah, they have more teams that make the tournament. But the funny thing is you know who almost always freaking wins?
Who?
The ACC or the Big 12. Always. Like, it's always Kansas. It's always Duke. It's always Kentucky.
To get back to my original point, Edie and TJD are going to match up. I think IU's supporting cast is all around better, but the thing is Purdue knows how to play as a team, and they play as a team really well. I think just because it's at home, IU's going to win. I don't think IU will beat them at Mackey. I think what's going to end up happening is IU will finish the year like probably 20-10-ish. And probably make the tournament as like a 6th seed. And they're going to be a really good 6th seed. And I think this year in college basketball, it's been so hard to see who's really a contender. I think anyone seeded 1 through 6 can win the national title. It's not like some years where it's like these 7 teams are the only teams with a chance. It's like every single team basically in the top 30, top 40 could win it all. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, fair enough. Other scores around college basketball for this week. On Monday, we had 3 games featuring ranked teams. Virginia escapes with a win at Syracuse, 67-62. Syracuse is basically, no matter what year, they're a difficult team to beat because they run that 2-3 zone. They're a good defensive team, but Virginia was able to pull it out in the end. Syracuse's tournament hopes are on life support. They're 13-10. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it out. I mean, I've seen Syracuse pull it out from lesser odds, but Virginia's looking like a really good team. They're looking like those Virginia teams of old that just play outstanding defense and just suffocate you to death. They're back to that old kind of form. Missed the tournament last year, but they will probably make it this year. Texas defeated Baylor 76-71. This is a really good game between 2 good teams. I'm telling you, Baylor and Texas are 2 really good teams. I mean, LJ Cryer, Adam Flagler, Keontae George all went for over 10, and Bridges went for over 10. But, I mean, Texas and Baylor are 2 complete teams. They do not have a weak player 1-5. And Texas ended up winning that game. Those are 2 really good teams. Iowa State lost to Texas Tech 80-77. This was actually Texas Tech's first win against a Big 12 team. They were 0-8. In conference, and they came back from down 20. They were down 20 in this game, 56-36 with 14 minutes left in the second, and they came roaring back, won it in overtime. I don't think Texas Tech will make the tournament. I mean, they're 1-8 in conference play, but I don't know if Iowa State's a good team. I have no idea. Every single year I talk about Iowa State, and I have no idea if they're a good team. I mean, they've barely been beating some bottom-of-the-barrel teams, and then they'll go out and beat They beat Texas by 11, and then they lost to Oklahoma State. But then they beat number 5 Kansas State, and then they got embarrassed by Missouri and Texas Tech. I have no idea whether Iowa State's a good team. It happens to me every single year. They blew out Baylor, but got blown out by Iowa. So I have no idea. It's just the Jekyll and Hyde routine when you talk about Iowa State. As for the other games yesterday, not counting IU, Boston College defeated Clemson, and I've been saying that Clemson is a fraudulent team. I do not think they're that good. They had a decent record, but they hadn't played. They lost to South Carolina earlier in the year. They lost to Iowa earlier in the year. Who else did they lose to? They got blown out by Loyola. They just hadn't been playing well. Then they won some games against some very mid ACC teams like Virginia Tech and Pitt, and they beat Duke, but Duke hadn't been playing that great this year. IU's better than Duke. I'll say that right now. And I believe that. But they lost to Wake Forest, and then they won some games, and then they lost to Boston College, a team with a losing record. And there was no one at that game. I mean, I'm telling you right now, Clemson's a fraudulent team. If they're like a 6 or a 7, pick the upset. They're not that good of a team. Miami takes down Virginia Tech 83-92. High scoring game. That's what Miami does. They just try to outscore teams, and they were able to do it this time. Kansas and Kansas State, a rematch. A lot of people, including me, were looking forward to. Kansas State, of course, beat them by 1 in overtime, and Kansas was able to draw even on the year. They won 90-78. Yeah, Kansas basically just controlled this one through the second half. It's one of those things where it's like when you lose to someone one time, you beat them the second time because you've seen them and you know how to deal with them better. So Kansas gets them back. Maybe we'll see them meet in the Big 12 tournament. UConn beat DePaul. Good for them. Xavier couldn't beat DePaul. Alabama beat Vandy 101-44. You don't see blowouts like that in conference play too often. You don't. I don't remember the last time I saw a conference team beat a conference team by 60. Vanderbilt is not very good. They're 10-12, but that's still an SEC caliber team. Alabama might be for real. They're also kind of like Iowa State, though. They got blown out by 30+ to Oklahoma. So, I don't know. TCU was able to get a win over West Virginia, 76-72. Not really much to say about this game. Good home win for TCU. West Virginia's kind of been playing a little bit better. They're still teetering on the edge of making the tournament or not. And then Nevada took down a ranked San Diego State at home. These are two also really good teams. San Diego State have been playing really well throughout the year, but so had Nevada. Nevada's up there with some of the best teams in the Mountain West. Mountain West is a sneaky good basketball conference. Boise State made the tournament last year. Utah State normally has a good team. New Mexico came out of nowhere and was ranked. San Diego State almost always has a good team. And Nevada's been one of those teams. They're still they're keeping pace with basically everyone. Tournament teams, I see 4 tournament teams out of the Mountain West. I see Boise State making the tournament, 18-5. I see San Diego State making it, they're 17-5. I see New Mexico making it 17-6, and I see New Mexico making it 19-3. So I can see all those teams making the tournament. Real quickly, let's make some picks for tonight. Penn State at Purdue.
I think that's a pretty obvious one. Purdue's going to win that. Penn State really isn't a good basketball team.
Purdue's also basically unstoppable at home. All right, Providence at Xavier.
Xavier will win. Xavier's got a good home. They're pretty good at home.
Both these teams are 17-5. If I had to make a pick, I would take Xavier. Tennessee at Florida.
Tennessee will win just because they're on a streak right now.
I think Tennessee's the most complete team in college basketball. I think they're the best team. I think they're better than Purdue.
I think that Tennessee has not proven that they're the top team. Like, literally, they haven't.
Oh, they haven't now?
No, they haven't. Otherwise, they would be the top team.
Okay, that's just my personal opinion, but
but you're also a Tennessee fan, so
in football, more Tennessee. They blew out Kansas, which is hard to do anytime. They beat Maryland, close loss to a very good Arizona on the road. Blew out a ranked Mississippi State. To be
fair, Purdue
Texas.
blew out Gonzaga when they were ranked.
Gonzaga also lost to Loyola Marymount, so.
Okay, but my point is that technically when they won, they were, at that time, what was Gonzaga was 7th in the country.
All right, Georgia at Auburn.
Georgia will lose. Auburn will win that.
Georgia, they're trying their best to make a tournament case, but they have a loss to a UAB. They have a loss to UAB. UAB's not terrible. All right, and lastly, Villanova Marquette.
I'll take Marquette.
I will also take Marquette. And then the games Thursday aren't very good.
No.
Saturday is jam-packed with games, though.
I'm going to go ahead. We're going to move on to women's because we only got 15 minutes left because we're only doing an hour in audio only. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to our women's games that are coming up because we have one tonight. And then I may just briefly mention the standings in NBA. First off, tonight we are going to be playing a really good game against Minnesota. Minnesota is not a good team. Obviously, we're 20-1 now after we blew out Rutgers at home on Sunday. I absolutely love this team for multiple. One, the fact that we can play our starters almost all game, not even have to hardly touch our bench, and we still are blowing teams out. That's really good to know because we still have a really good bench. With Lexus, when we have Sarah, who, by the way, that was her old team. She used to, her old team is Minnesota, so that'll be a really good matchup to watch tonight. Sarah, Alexis, and then of course, we still got a really good backup core here. And yet, when we literally just played our starters pretty much. We play them every game, and they are a great starting five. In the game against Rutgers, McKenzie, of course, had 21. Sydney had 17. Grace had 21. And Chloe only had 5, but she also was more focused on assists when she had 5. But no, Grace by far was the best player in that game. She had 4 total rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. She had 21 points, so she looked really good. Also in that game, they scored 11 3-pointers. Like, they're one of the best sharpshooting teams I've ever seen in the game. Like, it's ridiculous. Grace was 3 for 3, Sydney 3 for 6. Yarzan went 4 for 6. I mean, they don't miss most of the time. I know the night that against Ohio State, I know producer Jackson was there as well. I mean, they were hitting threes. They struggled at the beginning, but then they hit 2 back-to-back, which is when the arena just erupted. They had their defense started to get really good.
Yeah, especially in the third quarter. They were really good.
I think it's very disrespectful, the fact that they're at number 4. I think that the only team that they could really not, I don't know that they would beat is South Carolina. Stanford is a 2-loss team. They do not deserve to be number 2. They're not that good of it. I mean, they're a good team, but they're not that good. I mean, the fact that Ohio State was number 2 and we beat Ohio State, and now Ohio State lost 2 straight afterwards, 1 including Purdue, and they're now 20-3 or 19-3. And we're not number 2 makes no sense to me. I think we could easily beat LSU if I'm being realistic. I think we could beat LSU by double digits. They're not that great of a team. I think that the rankings have been, not very respectful to the team. But yeah, I mean, our team is fantastic. I love our team. Like I said, we're playing Maryland at home, or not at home. We're playing Minnesota on the road tonight, and then I'm pretty sure that our next home game is not going to be until Purdue, that is going to be a crazy game. We're going to have to get there like an hour and a half early. That'll be like one of my favorite games to go see. I absolutely love that. But yeah, I don't know. I think producer Jackson's probably going to go to that one too, the Purdue game. I think that'll be fun because they just beat Ohio State too. Purdue did. So they're not actually. Purdue is crazily not a bad like. They're not bad right now. They looked bad.
Women's team.
Yeah, they looked bad at the very beginning, but like, they're 15-6. They're not horrid.
The only team they got to worry about in the Big Ten is Iowa.
I 100% agree. Iowa's only lost 1 game, and
it was Iowa and Ohio State. But they already beat Ohio State. So.
Yeah. So what is that?
Sorry, what you probably already said. What did Ohio State drop to again?
Ohio State. I'm pretty sure they dropped all the way out, or not all the way out. They dropped like, I want to say 15.
I will say
it was a bad week for them.
In women's basketball, and this is kind of sad if you ask me, there's a big disparity in the talent of teams. Like in men's, there are a lot of teams that are very closely packed together. There are a lot of teams like these are good teams. With women's sports in general, it's a lot of these teams are at the very, very top and they're winning all the games. Oh, they dropped
to 10. Yeah.
That's probably fair. But you have a lot of teams at the very, very top with these amazing records, like the top teams in women's basketball, 21-0, 21-2, 21-0, 20-1, 20-2.
But see, this is another thing. What I really hate about rankings for women's basketball, though, is the fact that we're 20-1. We're the leader in the Big Ten. We're on an 8-game win streak. We're number 4 in the country. Iowa at 6th is 17-4.
But you have a lot of teams also that are like 2-20, 1-19. And it basically just comes down to some schools like IU and South Carolina and UConn and LSU and Iowa. They care about women's sports. And then you have other schools that just completely don't give a shit.
But the funny thing is, if you look at the top 25, a lot of these teams are very sad. Gonzaga 21-2, Duke 18-3. I mean, Iowa State.
That's what I'm saying. But everyone in the top 25 has like a crazy good record.
I mean, I still think that I think that women's basketball is becoming a bigger thing in college than it is. I think that the WNBA. I mean, just obviously they lose more money than they make every year, so it's gonna. I mean, I feel bad that these girls who are. I mean, think about it. Grace is a fantastic player. Sydney and Mackenzie. I mean, pretty much our entire team is fantastic. You know, what are they going to do after college? Yeah, they can go to the WNBA, but the WNBA literally, I think they lose what they said, like $90,000 every single year.
They lose a lot of money.
It's ridiculous. And women are like, we need more money. We don't necessarily want to be paid what the men are, but we want more money. And they're like, what money are we going to give you?
They can't. They don't make
They're
anybody.
losing more money. So it's I think it's horrible. But no, it looks really good right now. Again, we're playing Minnesota tonight. I know I'll be watching that. I think it's on BTN Plus right now. I'm not sure though because they keep changing the station. I don't know what they're doing. And then that'll be a great game. And then of course, if looking ahead, our next game is going to be against Purdue on February 5th. We are at Purdue. Our next home game is against Iowa, which I know I will be attending. And then our home game against Purdue is February 19th, which is going to be fantastic. Looking ahead, I don't think we lose another game.
I do want to put a little PSA out there. I just saw a site called IU B-ball tickets. They're selling like Purdue tickets. I am 95% sure this Instagram page is a scam. I am
95%. I'm 100%. I haven't even looked at it.
I'm pretty sure this is a scam.
No, it is.
I'm pretty sure.
How many followers does it have?
54.
And how long has it been up?
Like a week.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you guys see a page like that on Instagram, they literally had a thing. It's like selling GA tickets for the Purdue game, only like $100. Like, do not put your shit in there.
I don't think we should have to say this.
Figured I would say that just in case someone.
It's really sad that we have to say this, but especially for our generation, guys. It's social media. Literally, just be aware of what you're clicking. I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, especially for like me and Quincy. We do a lot with sports, right? I mean, the biggest thing with sports is facts. Like, I mean, you can't be a sports broadcaster and just be like looking at the websites that are not giving facts. So just look at it. Like, it's not hard. Most of the time, especially now, like, it takes a lot more effort to make it look realistic, and people don't want to try. So it's pretty obvious most of the time when something's a scam. Because I hate those people that like click on something and then like they start complaining. Been followed by like 20,000 spam accounts and people keep messaging me. What did you click on? Oh, this website is we like to spam. Well, duh. Like,
I will say I was at a White Sox game and I was going to park and I see the dude with like a Sox parking vest and I'm like, oh, this is where I park because it was right by the little lane where you go in. So I paid the guy to park, and I went in. And this other guy comes up to me and goes, hey, yo, did you paid to park, right, to those guys? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, they don't work for us. I'm like, they're like, yeah, they come to, like, every game. And I'm like, and you've done nothing about it besides sit after the gate and tell me that. You've done nothing about it. Like,
they can't.
They can.
No.
They can call the cops.
Are they on their property?
Yes.
No.
They literally were.
Were they standing actually in there, or were they standing outside of the parking
They were
garage?
literally right in front of the. So
yeah,
the way
technically
the thing
they
works,
can't. I mean, they could technically say that they were scamming,
but the
also,
fact that dude was, and so I was so mad. My friend paid for the actual parking.
Did the dude ever say that he worked for this? Okay, because
he had the vest on and shit. And if I ask him, he's gonna say yeah.
Well, you didn't. If you just say, you just said, is this where we park? And he said, yeah.
Well, because he had the
he's not wrong.
Well, when we got to the actual parking spot, the people that were actually there were wearing the same shit.
I'm just saying, it's just people are crazy now.
I was so fucking mad.
But yeah, right now we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. We'll definitely. I forgot that we only had an hour today.
If you scam people, fuck you.
Also, if you fall for it, you're an idiot. I'm sorry.
Your Bloomington Buddies PSA for the day.
Honestly, yeah. Be smart. Don't get scammed. But yeah, no. I honestly forgot we only had an hour in these booths, so we will do NBA next Friday. Like I said, we did this a little early, but yeah. So yeah, go support the Hoosiers, even though I don't think they're gonna win, but
there might be an IU Purdue watch party stream.
Yeah,
just saying.
I'm not going to that probably because it's gonna be crazy.
Then there won't. So
yeah, there's not. There won't be. I told them not to have it. But no, I will say watch parties have like gotten to the point to where they're not any good anymore. I don't know if you've been to a watch party recently. It's just like people take it too far. I guess you could say like it's just. I've been to a couple like watch parties since I've been here, just like for like some of the basketball games and also like
define watch party though.
Watch party. I'm talking
does
like
me having like 6 people at my dorm count as a watch party.
That's not a watch party. A watch party to me is at least 30 to 40 people. So like I'm talking at like a restaurant or like at the IMU.
I was thinking like 10 people in like a dorm.
That's not really a watch party. Okay. That's more of a gathering.
I was confused on your definition.
No, a watch party is a bigger thing. I will say I don't believe that. I think watch parties are being overrated because it's
unless I can find a ticket, then I'm going to the game.
I'm not going to the game no matter what because I don't see the point in paying $50 to go watch us get blown out. Like when I can go to any other thing for free. Right. I just don't understand that. I went to some of the games. My thing was I want to go to at least one game just so I can see TJD play before he goes. And I did that.
You went to the UNC game, didn't you?
I went to the UNC game and I also went to the Rutgers game because you found like a $10 ticket. And so I was like, all right.
No, the Nebraska one was the one we went to.
Or Nebraska, yeah. But yeah, no.
And
I
you
mean,
found
I have
tickets.
no. I did. That's right. I mean, I have no interest in going to any of the games because what are we gonna do? We're gonna knock off a number one team, and yet we're still gonna go the next week and probably lose to some horrible team. So I mean, like, it's just there's no point for me.
That's a
but anyway,
very pessimistic attitude.
It's not a pessimistic attitude. It's been proven.
We're gonna lose.
It's been proven.
Woe is me.
I mean, I think me and Jackson have already talked about it. I'd rather go see a winning team. I'd rather go see a winning team.
Attitude.
And I think that we both
I will
know who
say
the winning
I
team
haven't
is.
been to an IU game at home where they've lost.
Okay, and neither have I, because you know why? I've been to two games, and also
it's the lucky jacket.
The women haven't lost either at home.
Oh, yeah,
so
they also haven't.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, yeah, I mean, go. It's free. I will promote them as much as possible, just because I feel they're the most underrated thing.
I want to go when they play Iowa. That's I don't like Caitlin Clark.
I just don't like any other team because they all are like overrated. They are. Every team that is right now, except for South Carolina, is overrated. That's in the top.
They're all overrated.
They are, except for IU and South Carolina, because they all have 2 losses.
No one deserves to be in the top 10.
Nobody.
LSU's undefeated.
Huh?
LSU's undefeated.
Yeah, but they haven't. The last I checked, they played like one ranked team.
But who had they played?
They played like one ranked team. And we've played Ohio State. We've played North Carolina, which, by the way, that was the funniest stuff I've ever been a part of.
All right.
It's just, the baby crying. But
we're going
to have to wrap it up because we only are doing an hour podcast, but we will get this out. I'll have this out by this afternoon on YouTube.
Also, bracketology will be released on my channel. By the time you're watching this, it probably is already up.
Yeah, it probably will be for him. I'm going to start my bracketology this weekend. I'm going to make my bracket.
We can compare in upcoming shows.
We'll talk more about it in upcoming shows. But yeah, once again, make sure to just go follow us on all our Instagram or all our social media on Instagram and TikTok. I did put quite a few videos up this week from our last episode. What I'll do is whenever I put an episode up, I'll just kind of clip it and I'll make little segments and I'll put those up. I will say that I've been hearing rumors that I doubt is true, but they're talking about like possibly TikTok moving away from a lot of their, like possibly even getting rid of TikTok, which I don't believe. But
I hate TikTok.
I like TikTok. It's fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's also stupid, but it's fun.
I loathe TikTok.
But yeah, so make sure to go follow us at Bloomington_buddies on both Instagram and TikTok. Like I said, I just put some stuff up. I'll get some stuff up for this show probably sometime either in the next day or two or even this weekend. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We had a lot of fun today. Thanks to our producer Jackson for working around his busy schedule, getting us in even here with the audio only. Best in the business, easily. And we'll make sure to get this up pretty soon. But for Quincy Bell, I'm Eddie Finn, and thanks for tuning in to Bloomington Buddies, everybody.